What's up, Dr. Maxfield? I'm Sam Hubbard, defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals. Thanks for taking the time. I've always been pretty passionate about skincare, and I'm excited to partner with Pretty Boy and talk to a professional like yourself about my routine and maybe gain some knowledge on how to make it a little bit better. So we can start off with a few questions that I had. I'm a pro athlete working out a lot of times in the day, spend a lot of time in the sun. What should I be most conscious of when I'm thinking about taking care of my skin?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of personalizing skincare. So it needs to be tailored towards your goals, your skin issues, and then your lifestyle. Now, every conversation could begin with sun protection because that's responsible for up to 90% of the aging of our skin. And that also kind of coincides with this universal idea of protecting yourself against skin cancer. But you bring up a unique thing about being an athlete and, even wearing a helmet. These are things that a lot of people just don't deal with. And so finding a way to make sun protection and all of these things work with your life is going to be unique, difficult, but also extremely important. And with that lifestyle you have, sun avoidance, although preferable potentially, it's not really feasible. So for myself also, I'm not going to give up surfing to prevent all dark spots. I kind of have to marry the passions of my life with sun protection and kind of obtaining more realistic goals. So what I'd like to hear from you is just what are some of your goals? What are some of the skin issues? So we can kind of tailor things towards you.
Yeah, I obviously know what you're talking about. My dad suffered from skin cancer at a pretty young age. He's all good now. He got it taken off, but sun avoidance is not an option. We do a lot of work outside. But growing up, I had some acne. Now I just try and, I'm in front of the cameras and media and all the time. I like to have clear skin and don't want to have, wrinkles, sun damage, stuff like that. But I wake up in the morning, wash my face, put on Pretty Boy, go about my day, go to bed, wash my face, put on Pretty Boy, and that's about my routine right now. And wear sunscreen. Try to wear sunscreen when I can, but under a helmet and stuff, it's pretty tough.
Okay, yeah. So you bring up that unique point. You're wearing a helmet during your time outside, and I always get asked the question: should I wear sunscreen if X? And for you, that X is wearing a helmet. And, I've never actually spoken to that directly, but if in an ideal world, the answer would be yes. And so we have to find a way to tailor getting that sunscreen onto your skin. There are a couple of good ones for outdoorsy, active people in particular, like Neutrogena Sheer Zinc is very thick, very effective, but it does leave a white cast. Think Sport has one that's also water resistant. But, we just have to kind of tailor it towards you and just which ones you like. There's so many good options. It's more important you find one you like that you can use consistently, because consistency is one of the most important things. That's what adds up and has this cumulative effect where the benefits are seen 10, 20, 30 years down the road. Sunscreen.
Yeah, so I was really just wondering, what basic routine should I be following to protect my skin and feel the benefits 10, 20 years from now?
Okay, yeah. So I guess when you're starting a skincare routine, the most basic concepts start with just a cleanser. This can be gentle, it can have actives, but you can start with a gentle cleanser, kind of reset the skin. And then you have your actives. And if you have to pick an active for one, it would probably be a retinoid. It's just foundational for acne and anti-aging. After your actives, then kind of comes your moisturizers. And the moisturizer is actually a really, really nice way to slip in other active ingredients. So moisturizers can double as actives. So if you have a moisturizer with niacinamide, this is a jack of all trades ingredient. It does anti-aging, it does dark spots. It's probably one of the best supporting ingredients. And so what you're looking for in a moisturizer is something that has these ingredients like niacinamide, or even soothing ingredients like squalane oil, that's doing double duty to help simplify your routine. And then after your moisturizer comes your SPF and sunscreen, and we've kind of talked about that already. So it's cleanser, actives, moisturizer, plus or minus actives in there, and then SPF.
When you're talking to my teammates aren't as active as me in skincare and stuff. When you're talking to somebody that's completely new to skincare, how do you, what do you tell them or recommend to them to not scare them off, or just to get a good foundation?
For people who are starting out, I like to say, 1, just keep it simple, 2, be deliberate, and then 3, be consistent. I mean, those are probably the most important things. So we keep that same routine that we talked about before. And then the be deliberate and thoughtful part, again, it goes back to kind of knowing your skin and knowing your goals. So you have to pick products and ingredients that are actually doing something for what's important to you. Because one thing I see a lot of is people will see a good product, like a great product, but they buy it because it's great, even though it may not necessarily be great for their skin or their issues. So, I mean, it's just very important to know what you're trying to treat and making sure what you're buying and purchasing is actually tailored towards that. And then again, being consistent, because without consistency, you're not going to see any results. I mean, nothing works for a person if they're not using it. And that's actually one of the most common mistakes I see people starting out in skincare making, is they just get started kind of like a lot of interesting things, and then they taper off. So making sure you do all of those steps consistently goes a long way.
Yes, that's like what I would do in the morning. What about going to bed? I usually shower, wash my face, moisturize again before going to bed. Is that a whole nother story, or you do the same thing again?
Yeah, so you bring up a good point. Like, there are certain ingredients that actually have to be used at nighttime instead of the morning. A lot of the over-the-counter retinols are broken down by light. So that's something that would fall exclusively in a nighttime routine. So that would look a little different than what you're doing during the day. Whereas antioxidants or vitamin C, although broken down by light, a lot of their work is protecting the skin through that antioxidant function. So that's an ingredient that might be tailored more towards the morning, although that could be used either morning or night. But yeah, so this is kind of where it gets a little bit nuanced, but there are certain ingredients where you use morning, certain ingredients where you use nighttime. So again, so example, in the morning, taking it kind of more to the real world, in the morning, you wash your face, you put on your actives, you put on your moisturizer like Pretty Boy, and then you use your sunscreen. But obviously you don't need sunscreen at night, so at nighttime it's like cleanser, actives, moisturizer again, and then tailoring ingredients like retinoids into, or over-the-counter retinols into that nighttime step with the actives.
Yeah. No, I'm a really routine-based person, so all I need is to find the right stuff, and I'll do it waking up and going to bed every night. So I'm trying to always identify. I've tried a million different things throughout the years, and Pretty Boy is one of my favorite that I've found so far.
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't see a lot of professional athletes where I live. I do see some, but I'm coastal, and most of them are like 70 years old and retired, so it's like a different time in their life. But I do see a lot of people in their early athletic years, like high school, some college athletes around the area here. And the main thing I see them lack is consistency. They will go through those steps of building a good skincare regimen, but then they just kind of fail or fall out along the way, and then they're disappointed ultimately at the results they're getting. And it's kind of the self-perpetuating cycle. Like, they think they've put in the work, they bought the product, they start using them, they stop using them, and they get discouraged, and they kind of give up on the whole thing. So it's just very important to get in a routine, build habits so that you can be consistent and get the maximum amount of benefits, or even the benefits at all, from the things you're investing in.
Yeah, so like, what's the best cleanser to use? Like, what are you looking for? Is it better to just, like, if you're you don't have anything, to just use water? I've heard like bar soap is bad. It like strips your face of your oils. Like, there's just so much like just misinformation everywhere. I don't know.
So yeah, when you're looking for a cleanser, you again kind of have to tailor it towards your skin. So for someone who's struggling with acne, ingredients like salicylic acid, glycolic acid can be helpful. Niacinamide can be found in cleansers as well. Although with that one, I prefer it, I think, as a leave-on, like in the moisturizer, like in the Pretty Boy moisturizer, for example. I like it better, and actually I like it best in that role. Niacinamide in moisturizer, like it best. I'll just say that. But for someone with sensitive skin, finding a facial cleanser that's pH balanced, that is non-foaming might actually even be helpful, or one with hydrating oils. That can all be beneficial at preventing irritation. And then, like you mentioned, bar soaps. A lot of those are very alkaline, which can be very, very irritating to the skin. So just as a general rule of thumb, finding one of the newer non-bar soap and all pH balanced gentle cleansers is going to be superior for someone with sensitive skin. And then also with the gentle cleansers, like, you do have to realize that fragrance can be allergenic and irritating. So fragrance-free is important as well.
My sister had got me for Christmas like their 3-step, whatever she uses, like the 3-step anti-aging system, where you like put it on in the morning and then the moisturizer over top, and then you clean your face before bed, put one on, and then the other moisturizer. it was like a 3-step thing. She told me about that, and it was really like I went back to like reorder. It was like a couple $100, and I was like, I don't think I need all that. Is that the right things? I mean, like, or is it accomplished just the same with Pretty Boy, or?
Okay, so you actually bring up a great point, because I don't know what exactly was in those SkinCeutical products you were using, so I can't speak to like if Pretty Boy is a complete dupe or alternative for those products in general. But I think this brings up like a great point of like product consolidation. So when you have an idea of what you're trying to target with your skin, one of the best ways to make things simple is to find that moisturizer, like I was talking about, with multiple ingredients in it. So Pretty Boy has, like I said, that niacinamide, which is like a great complementing ingredient for almost any skin condition. It's pretty absurd all the things niacinamide can do, even at that low concentration. And then it has glycerin, squalane, panthenol, just a ton of hydrating and soothing ingredients. And so when you're picking your moisturizer, you want something that functionally does a lot or could replicate some of those other actives, so that you don't have to use things like an eye stick or aftershave or any other ingredients. Like, you can really use Pretty Boy as a functional alternative for a lot of those things, and it will simplify your routine, help you be consistent, and just make everything so much easier. But with that, you kind of remind me of something I see in the clinic all the time, actually, with my patients. Is they come in and they're like, yeah, I'm using this cream, it comes in a white bottle, or I'm using it's kind of blue, or I'm taking this pill, it's yellow. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I never actually know what you mean. I don't know what you're using. So it's really important for people to actually pay attention and kind of know what the actual product you're using is, or what the ingredients you're using are, because a lot of times there's wasted steps, wasted ingredients, and inherently wasted time and money if a person's not paying attention to those details.
Yeah, I have never paid attention too much to like the actual ingredients in there, what it does, just more like brand names and stuff and like the marketing. But I mean, the ingredients are all that matters. They're so important.
And you bring up another point about cost. I mean, look, you're a professional athlete, you're a Super Bowl contender, and if this brand was too expensive for you, who are they trying to cater towards, right? So there's like a whole thing about, is it practically realistic to buy this product or ingredient? So affordability is something that's very important.
It's just like a convenience thing. Like when you're in the locker room, I shower a couple of times a day. I lift in the morning, go out to walk through, you're sweaty all day if you don't shower. Like, I can't be putting all these steps on. I got to grab something in my locker and be able to, feel like my face isn't like getting torn apart because something I put on, go out to practice, and I'm in the sun for 3 hours. Like, Pretty Boy has just been more suitable to like the active male lifestyle. Plus it'd be weird to be in my locker with a bunch of other guys doing all these different steps, skincare steps. It's easier to just grab that. And but what's the deal with all these 10-step routines that girls follow and like all the products? They all seem to do the same thing. But like you said, you pretty much did a good job covering like the basic 4 things that you need. And are all those extra stuff any validity to it?
So actually, yes. This is kind of where we talked about you can add in other ingredients to that foundational routine to kind of elevate things. And it may bring you from here to here. But for some people, here is okay. Like whether it's because of their lifestyle or their goals, they don't want to elevate it all the way. And for some people, just doing something is better than doing nothing. And I have this phrase that I came up with. It's prohibitively perfect, meaning that you could do everything exceptionally well with your skincare, but if it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, or if it doesn't fit with your goals, then it doesn't fit really at all. And so a key is finding a product that has multiple ingredients in it that can take a 10-step routine, or ingredient-wise, but turn it into a 3-step routine, just because multiple ingredients are consolidated into one product.
Gotcha. No, that's great intel. Is there anything you had to ask me or questions like that?
Okay, yeah. So for you, one of the questions is like a 3-part question. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've made in the past with your skin? What are some of the biggest mistakes you're making now, or you feel like you might be making now? And what are some of the biggest mistakes you see other people in your profession making when it comes to their skincare?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at a young age, no one wants to really wear sunscreen. I think I always want to get sun. I always feel better when I get like at least 15 to 30 minutes of sun a day. You know, your skin clears up in the short term. You know, you feel good, you look tan, but really long term, I've learned as I've gotten older, it's better to wear sunscreen, protect your skin. And like we talked about earlier, probably just using too harsh cleaners and scrubbing your face thinking it's accomplishing something when really you're kind of just damaging your skin. Those would probably be my biggest mistakes, I think, as I've moved on.
So I completely understand that. Like when I was growing up, you know, I played a lot of football outside almost every single day in the summer sometimes. And also I did not wear sunscreen. At that time in my life, I mean, I just have darker skin tone. I rarely burn. I just didn't understand the utility, and I didn't have like the long-term goals that I do now. But not wearing your sunscreen at a young age is one of the most common mistakes I see people make. I think they just completely underestimate the long-term consequences of it. And that's another thought here too, is, you know, people have healthy skin. Like I'm on YouTube and I'm a good, 5 feet away from the camera. My skin looks great, but I have dark spots. And I'd say 90+% of it, even though I surf now, is probably just from my younger years where I didn't wear any sunscreen. And having the foresight to have worn it when I was younger would have made a huge difference in the way my skin looks now and my overall skin health now. It's got to be one of the most common mistakes people make in their youth.
Yeah, and then finding the right cleanser. I've just been, like I told you, the couple I've tried in the past. What do you think of, I think it's called Cetaphil? Is it just like a...
Yeah, so Cetaphil actually just sent me this box. I have a lot of boxes I need to go through, but they have some great gentle cleansers, and this is kind of what I was talking about, just keeping your cleanser simple. Cetaphil is a brand where most of their stuff has been very thoughtfully tailored towards sensitive skin. So that's if you need something simple like a Cetaphil gentle cleanser, it is a great place to start. But with your cleanser, like I said, if you can consolidate some actives in there, like we talked about with acne, that's a good way to simplify your skincare routine.
When you say like niacinamide, that's an active, what is an active?
That's actually a really great point. You know, I'm so used to talking, I think, within this like hyper aware social media, or even in the office, like skincare world. I forget that, you know, people are entering the space and they're unfamiliar with terms I regularly use. So when I talk about an active ingredient, I'm mostly just talking about something that is tailored towards a specific skincare condition and has a functional role in treating it. So like niacinamide, for example, it can be helpful for dark spots, acne. So when I'm looking for an ingredient and I have that condition, that becomes an active ingredient that I'm looking for. Now, the FDA has like a whole nother thing on what it truly means to be an active ingredient, but just in general, when I'm talking about that in conversations, that's kind of what I mean.
And then back to your question, what mistakes do I see teammates make? I mean, you go into these showers in our locker room and visiting locker rooms, they just have on the wall, like the push to dispense soaps. And I mean, that's all you have. You're coming just straight after a game. You got eye black, you got everything on, and that's all you use. And it's like those industrial cleaners, and your skin does not feel good after that. So, I always have my own face wash and then like Pretty Boy with me to moisturize after. But a lot of guys will just use that and, you know, go get dressed, and then, you know, that's that. But yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing there is, you know, our skin is there as a barrier to protect us, but it also tries to protect itself from like really irritating, harsh ingredients like those industrial soaps that you might come in contact in locker rooms. And there's actually something else here that most people don't realize is people who are active, working out, or our athletes kind of have this weird middle of the day cleanse, or like where you've played a game, or you're done with practice, and it's not morning, so you don't redo your whole skincare routine. It's not night, so you don't redo your nighttime skincare routine, but you do re-cleanse in the middle of the day. And so here's where washing your face multiple times can be a problem. So you do really need to have that gentle cleanser. And there's actually another thing here I found that's helpful is there is a cleansing ingredient called hypochlorous acid. It's like pH balanced. It's very gentle. And let's see. Yeah. And it's mostly water. So it kind of goes on very easily and gently, but it's great for that middle of the day cleanse. So some people, especially in football or who wear helmets, you have something called acne mechanica, where you have this like strip of acne or acne forms, especially where things like the helmet come in contact with the skin. So that's where a cleanser like this would be great. You just spritz it on. It kind of cleanses, kills all the bacteria in the area, and can help remove or treat that acne without having to do your whole routine in the middle of the day.
Then you just moisturize after you use that? Because I mean, I have that pretty much every day. I shower, work out, then I need another shower at the middle of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So for someone who's just like cleansed in the middle of the day and you don't want to redo your whole skincare routine, you just throw on or do a gentle cleanser or use that cleansing ingredient, and then you can put on your moisturizer to just give you all of those hydrating benefits in the middle of the day, protect your skin from being overstripped. And that's where your cleanser, having like Pretty Boys, having that squalane, having that glycerin, having that panthenol, all of that's going to help protect that skin barrier. And one reason that applying moisturizer multiple times throughout the day is probably like an underrepresented, underappreciated skincare hack almost. Because with these moisturizers, you're going to protect your skin barrier, you're going to hydrate your skin barrier, and it actually helps your skin look healthier almost immediately. It's one of those things where if you're looking for immediate benefits, there are very few things in skincare that do that, but hydrating your skin actually can just make it look immediately healthier in addition to protecting your skin throughout the day.
Nice. Yeah, that's really all the questions I had. Anything else you wanted to hit on?
Yeah, I have something I want to ask. So like, when did your skincare start becoming like really important to you? Was it when you had acne growing up, or was it something more recent? Like, what brought this to your attention? When did this become important?
I think it was really once I left college. You know, you live the college lifestyle. You're kind of unhealthy in all aspects, from what you eat, kind of everything you do. Then you get in. I got drafted in the real world. I got a chef, and like more conscious of the supplements and what I eat, trying to eat organically, and that kind of progressed into all aspects of my life, from, you know, skincare. I got Invisalign. Like, you're just always looking for ways to be, healthy and best version of yourself, and that kind of just has always progressed into my skincare routine as well.
Yeah, so that's actually something I think a lot of people do without realizing it, is they try to play catch up with their skincare and their skin health. Just like when you're younger, your skin looks healthy. You can eat whatever you want without any consequences, but at some point it's going to catch up to you. And so trying not to be reactive but proactive with your skincare is actually very important. And anyone who sees this, who is younger and has that healthy baseline skin or has skin issues, the earlier you start taking care of your skin, the better, because it's just so much easier to prevent damage or to maintain healthy skin than it is to try to reverse that sun damage or any other damage that you've been doing to your skin.
Yeah, so like your dietary choices, and like, I don't know if you feel like greasy food causes you to break out more, and like overall like sleep and all that, does that contribute to your skin health and like anti-aging and all the things that you're trying to accomplish? How much does that play a role versus what you actually put on your face?
Yeah, so it's actually really hard to quantify that. There just haven't been really any high quality long-term studies on this, but it's pretty obvious, right? Like, no one looks worse than when they haven't slept or haven't slept well. It's just obvious. No matter what you're doing topically, no matter what you're really eating, if you haven't slept well, you just look terrible. And a part of this is due to like our stress response, cortisol. Cortisol in the skin can kind of break things down a little bit, can also help even long-term cause some damage in the skin as well as the rest of our bodies. But it's a lot of it's mediated by stress, lack of sleep, and then again, cortisol. But
sorry to interrupt, but before I forget it, when you like do have like breakouts or whatever, why does it feel like when you get sun, everything clears up on the short term? And how do you put on, when you put on sunscreen, does that still happen but not have the damage?
So it's actually correct. We know that specific forms of UV light actually interact with the bacteria that causes acne, and it can kill the bacteria and in the short term help the appearance of the acne. We also know that light therapy can be useful for conditions like psoriasis. Now, the problem with like universally recommending this for everyone is just the trade-off isn't worth it. So we know that the sun has multiple detrimental things, and in the way that it affects our skin, it can photoage. It's responsible for almost all of the photoaging of our skin, or almost overall all of the aging of our skin in general. But then also there's the increased risk of skin cancers. And so because it's just not worth the long-term risks, and we have other multiple effective alternate treatments, it's just not worth it.
But when you put on sunscreen to protect it, does it do all the process that you just talked about, clearing you up, or does the sunscreen shield it so much that it's protecting everything?
The latter, unfortunately. So by virtue of blocking the UV damage or the UV light that comes in, it can damage our skin, and even the visible light if you're using a tinted sunscreen, it does prevent the sun and light from having that positive effect on our skin. So we don't have anything topically that can protect our skin, block the UV damage, but allow the UV light to have that effect on something like acne, unfortunately. Now in the office, we do have options where we use targeted light, so specific like 1 to 3 nanometers targeted light therapies for things like psoriasis, but we just don't have that selectivity, unfortunately, in the real world to just balance our relationship with the sun. And going back to diet. So diet, we haven't talked about diet yet. I wish we had more long-term and like high-quality data on this, because I do believe that what you eat and what you consume is very important for your overall health, but also your skin health. And I'm very interested to see what your diet looks like, since you said you have a chef that has tailoring things specific for you. But what we do know about diet and our skin health, especially for people like acne, is a high glycemic index diet. So simple carbs, sugars, those are bad for your skin. They actually cause inflammation throughout the body, skin included, and can worsen acne. Skim milk can also worsen acne, thought to be something related to the processing of it. Some things that might be more relevant for you and people in your lifestyle and situation, things that are high in vitamin B12, and I'm pretty sure Gatorade has a lot of the B vitamins, including B12 in this, can cause acne. And also things like whey protein powder. Again, I think this is mostly related to the glycemic index, but whey protein powder can also worsen your acne. Now, I don't think you can necessarily eat your way out of acne, unfortunately. You can't overcome everything with diet alone. But for someone who does have acne, changing these things in their diet can be helpful.
No, yeah, I moved away from dairy milk a while ago. I do like unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened oat milk. I try and limit as much as I can, like my processed carbs. I eat whole grains, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, also even Gatorade. I try not to drink Gatorade. If I do drink Gatorade, it's G0, but I drink those Gator Light packets in water, which is just the salt and electrolytes you need without all the dyes and
Nice.
sugars, just because you sweat so much during camp and you need to find a way to get extra salt. Salting your food isn't enough. But yeah, I'm really, really, really in tune with what I eat and what goes in my body as far as nutrition. I'll have cheat meals from time to time, but right now in the off season while I'm training, it's most every meal is cooked at home, and during the season, my chef cooks lunch and dinner for me. Yeah, I mean, a pre-workout shake, I start off with like a strawberry, banana, blueberry with some plant protein. I'll throw a lot of supplements in there, like green powders, collagen, flaxseed, chia seed, and I drink that every morning, off season, during season, before my workout. I usually lift in the morning, and I'll drink some pre-workout or coffee, and then after that I'll do my protein shake and oatmeal with some almond butter, and like I said, oat milk. I don't use real milk, and that'll hold me over till lunch. And I always try and just eat a protein, vegetable, and carb of like brown rice or something like that, whether it's salmon in the air fryer, chicken on the grill, some steamed broccoli, and then a big dinner, whether it's steak, sweet potato, green beans. I keep it pretty simple. Like I said, I'm a pretty routine person. I'm good at that. And couple of supplements I take, like vitamins wise, fish oil, vitamin D, and a daily multivitamin and turmeric. That's about my day every day encapsulated.
So Dr. Shaw would love to hear about the turmeric. He's turmeric, and he's my counterpart on our YouTube channel. But one thing I didn't mention before is the whey protein powder. So whey protein powder can also contribute to acne. So that plant-based protein powder you were talking about is probably the better option to go. But yeah, whey protein can worsen acne for some people. And one thing I'd like to hear from you too is just being in the position you're in. I'm sure you talk to younger people about the trajectory of their life overall, but when it comes, what's one thing that you would like to say to someone as far as just their overall life goals, and then what's something you would want to say to them or younger individuals about their skin goals in particular?
Yeah, I mean, as far as life goals, I mean, I'm a professional athlete, but I think sports do so much from like grade school, high school, even if you're not going to play in college, just as far as developing you from handling adversity to working as a team, forming friendships. I mean, still to this day, my best friends are my teammates from high school on my high school football team. I recommend young kids just play sports, like whatever sport. Don't even think about playing in the future or like trying to just play football to go to college. Play as many sports as you can, develop as an athlete, develop your hand-eye coordination, develop that, camaraderie, teamwork, a lot of lessons in life that people are successful. I mean, companies hire athletes for a reason. They know how to work in groups. I think there's a lot of benefits to, getting out there and competing in whatever form, whether it's chess team or basketball or whatever, just getting involved. And then skincare, every person has a different, skincare journey, whether you have terrible acne growing up or perfect skin your whole life. Make the most of it. Do everything you can to feel confident in your own skin, whatever that is, whatever makes you happy, and don't listen to what anybody else says.
And then going to like a person with perfect skin, like I'm just going to say it, nobody has perfect skin. Nobody. Part of people's perception of perfect skin is that, like I said before, I'm far away from a camera, or maybe people are on camera and it just helps make their skin look good. Or maybe someone just has very healthy skin at baseline in their youth. But look, everybody has pores. Everybody gets wrinkles. Everybody gets some amount of dark spots. That's just normal. And this is just life, right? But for someone who has healthy skin and their healthy skin growing up, it's just so important to protect and preserve that. Like we talked about before, it's so much easier to protect your skin, be proactive, than it is to undo the damage once it's already occurred. And so this is where something like a sunscreen is just foundational at protecting the skin from our daily environmental damage. And then a great moisturizer helps prevent all the damage from things you are putting on your skin, all these things that your skin is protecting you from throughout the day. This can be like the antioxidants in your moisturizer protecting you from pollution. It can be things like squalane and glycerin hydrating you and protecting you from just dehydration or the low humidity in the environment. This can be like things like niacinamide protecting your skin from other irritating ingredients. It soothes, it helps protect and treat acne. And then additionally, I think people fail to realize that moisturizers are great at immediate benefits for the skin too. These moisturizers really can help the skin just look healthy immediately. They kind of help it get a nice plump, they give it a nice glow, help it not look so dull, can help the wrinkles. And so all of these things together just make like your sunscreen, your actives, your moisturizers just kind of foundational in protecting that healthy skin or helping you get healthy skin.
I was curious about like facials. I've had a facial before, and is that good, damaging? I've heard rumors if you get one, you're going to need them forever, like all types of stuff.
Okay, wait. So what part of the facial in particular are you wondering about? But you did say you had one before?
Yeah, I've had one before.
And what did they do?
They just did like a million different layers of cleansing and like extractions or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's damaging or not?
Yeah, so I think a lot of that can be over stripping or even irritating. So like if you're cleansing and then cleansing and then cleansing again, or you have even exfoliating again, or a lot of manipulation of the skin, it definitely can be over irritating, no question. Now, I don't think it's going to cause that long-term dependence like you talked about, where if you get one, you're going to need another. I don't really think that's a thing. But I think people enjoy facials, especially when it comes to like getting any of the oil or grease out of their skin. They just find that sort of instant gratification that we had talked about before. So maybe you get a little bit of immediate benefits. Long-term benefits I don't think are there. Long-term harm I also don't think is there. But this is where I think having a good topical regimen definitely would supersede and provide much better benefits than just getting facials or even getting facials regularly. Like picking out good products, good ingredients tailored for your skin is so important because it's going to be much better in the long term than getting something like a facial.
All right, well, Doc, I appreciate the time and the knowledge. Thank you so much. I'm going to take what you said and run with it. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Definitely appreciate you, Sam. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Congrats on the big last year for you, and all the best in your future endeavors, both professionally as an athlete and with your skincare. Just thank you so much for your time with this as well. And thank you to Pretty Boy for putting this together. Thanks for letting us just kind of have an open discussion about our skincare goals. If you haven't checked out this moisturizer, I would highly recommend it. It is very thoughtful, very deliberate, which is kind of my thing, and it's a great moisturizer for anybody, but just especially for those who are just active like me or an athlete and who just enjoy getting out and enjoying life.